Hi folks, and welcome back to Fishing with Den. Well, today we're going to be doing a tackle test, and more specifically we're going to be testing this Matrix Horizon X 4000 sized reel. And I warn you now, it's not going to be a fair test. It's going to be an absolutely extreme test, because the 4000 size reel is designed for sort of medium feeder fishing. But I've put this onto my heavy duty feeder rod, and I'm going to be chucking out feeders of this size. Now, when it's fully loaded, that's going to weigh between 100 and 120 grams. And so the first question you're going to ask is, well, why on earth would you put a 4000 size reel onto a heavy duty feeder rod? Well, the answer to that is that I've just given up using my Preston Intensity 720 reel, which is a heavy duty reel, because I just didn't get on with it. If you want to see all the reasons for it, including some of the good points, I'll put a link up above now so you can have a look at that later if you want to. But I then was in a position where I had to decide what I was going to get to replace it. And one of the things I was thinking of to replace the Intensity was to get the 5000 version of this reel. And obviously I can't just go into a tackle shop and just go and buy one, because I have to get it sent away. And I happen to have this 4000 Horizon X sitting on the shelf. And the reason it was there, I bought it a few months ago when I thought I couldn't get my hands on any more of those MAP reels with the automatic clip release system. So it's been sat there, and it's actually covered in dust from where I've been building things, and I've never used it. I've never even cast it out yet. So I've got no preconceived ideas about this thing, but what I am going to do, by using it on this rod, it's going to be a totally extreme test, and if it does what I hope it will, then obviously I may well end up buying the 5000 size reel to replace it and to actually go onto this heavy duty rod. So let's have a quick look at some of the features, and I'm not going to go into all the tech specs or anything like that. Not really all that interested in that for this video. You can go and look that up yourself on the internet. But basically, for me, it's got an oversized spool, which is great. I like that idea. It's got a skirted spool here, which comes all the way down, so there should never be a gap between the spool and the main body of the reel. And that's the problem I had, the main problem I had with the Intensity. I really kept getting tangles behind the spool, and it just turned me off the reel altogether. Clutch wise, it needs to be a responsive clutch. Now this one doesn't have a speed drag system, which is, for anyone that doesn't know, it's kind of like quarter of a turn from almost off to almost fully on. The Intensity had sort of like 3 clicks from low, medium and high, the way I felt it, and so I didn't really get on with that either. The other thing it's got, it comes with either a double handle, and I understand you actually get a single handle with it too, but I can't remember because it's been sat in the cupboard for that long. Got the normal anti-reverse on the bottom, and that's really all there is to it. I just want to make sure that I don't get tangles, I can cast it well, and it's got cranking power to crank in both big feeders and big fish. Now that's if we catch any big fish today. Biggest I've had out of here is about 15 pounds, but you know, let's just see how we go on that. So enough of the ins and outs about the reel. I've just put I think it's a 3/4 ounce or a 1 ounce bomb on it, and this literally is my first cast with this reel. Just take the anti-reverse off, and nothing too major, just a fairly gentle sort of flick. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, about 64 turns. Now that was a fairly light chuck, and that's about what I'd expect from a reel of this size. Hopefully the 5000 size, if I do decide to buy one, will actually go a bit further, but for most of my purposes I probably only fish at 30, 40, 50 meters, so if I can get 70 meters out of a reel with a feeder on it, I'll be pretty happy. Anyway, let's put a feeder on, and we'll then put a hook on, and we'll get to fishing. As I say, I'm going to use this great big heavy feeder. Tackle wise, it's just the usual sort of thing. I've got a running feeder, I'm down to a twizzle boom, and I will have a hook length on there with a 14 hook to a I think it's a 6 pound line. Main reel line on this, by the way, is 8 pounds, and looking at this, it says line capacity 08 0.28mm 150 meters. Well, the reel I'm using, the line I'm using is Guru drag line, and it is 8 pounds and it is 0.28mm. So, you know, it does seem to have quite a reasonable capacity. Anyway, let's get some tackle put together and we'll get casted out. Okay, I've got the feeder full and I've got a couple of bits of sweet corn on that 14 hook, and it weighs a ton. And we're just going to give it a chuck across to about there. Bit of a spladoosh, but I shouldn't really have done, but hey. And I'll clip up for now, but I am going to put one of those bits of elastic on that I've shown you in the past. Again, I'll put a link up above to talk to you about how to gauge distance with the piece of elastic on the line. Give that a few seconds and then we'll cast out again, do another 4 or 5 feederfuls, and then we'll be into fishing. Okay, so a little bit on the clutch, try again. That feels reasonable. Obviously I've never set the clutch before, so that's okay. Yeah, reeling in. Obviously it's a bit more strain on the reel than it would be if it was a 5000, but again, as I say, this is a extreme torture test on the 4000 size, and if it works, well, we'll probably buy the 5000 size, and hopefully that reel should be exactly what I need. Okay, let's get these extra balls of ground bait out there. It's probably about 8 or 9 feet deep out there, by the way, so you've got to give it a few seconds to get down, and I've got fish swirling down in front of me. Makes you wonder why I don't just put a pole on, eh? Okay, a little bit more on the clutch. I'll know more once I've got a fish as to how that's responding. That's 2, 4 more to go, and then we can get to fishing. Not quite sure why I put bait on up to now, but hey, force of habit, I suppose. Okay, so that's 5 in. This will be the 6th one. So I'll get this one in, we'll come back in, and next time we'll leave it out there and be fishing. But before I do that, as I say, I'm going to put that piece of elastic on to make sure I know where I'm going to. Got a tree across the way there that I can use as a marker, and it's actually deeper than I thought out there. It's taking quite a while to sink, so it could be pretty much well over 8-10 feet deep there. Okay, well, that's everything set up. We've got bait on, as we said, so let's get this thing out there and see if we can catch. Okay. Down here on the reel, I've got the double handle set up, and one of the things I like about the double handle is you don't get that drop back that you do with a single handle. I know a lot of guys like the single handle, and that's fine, and a lot of people actually leave the anti-reverse on, which is also fine, but I do like to, under these circumstances, keep the anti-reverse off, because sometimes, as I've said before, I get these massive pull round bites and the whole rod's gone before you even turn around, especially if you've got a cup of coffee in your hand. And just a final bit of tweaking and we're about ready to go. So let's just hope we catch a few fish now for you. About 40 minutes in and I haven't had a bite yet, but I'm just going to have a bit of fun. Just while I was waiting, I just put some bait in down in front of me here, and there's literally just down there a whole pile of carp going down there and taking it. So just for a laugh, let's put this in down there, no bait in it, Just going to lay it in gently and let's see what happens. Crazy. You shouldn't be doing this, Dan. You lunatic. I can see tail patterns coming up. Not quite where I am, they're just a fraction off, but they're in the general area. So I'll just put that bait in as well. Might take them a minute or two to find mine. Just fishing with the same 2 bits of cord on the hook. Definitely tail patterns getting down towards where my hook bait is. Oh, liner. More liners. That's not a liner, that's a fish. Let's just release the clutch a little bit. That's it. Just, well, that was a bit of fun, wasn't it? Clutch seems to be quite reasonable on this. There's no initial sort of extra drag and then it pulls it and it works. It just seems to be a smooth drag, so I do like that. I mean, this fish is probably, at a guess, in the 3 to 5 pound range. Probably spooked them all down there, but it was good for a bit of fun, wasn't it? Don't know if there's any still there. Well, either way. Right, just slacking off a fraction while we're underneath the rod tip. I like this clutch. Alright, we should be getting about ready by now. And in he goes. Well, good start, if not quite what I intended. Certainly did the job there, didn't it? Oh, it's actually a bit bigger than I first thought. Great big head on him. And a great big gob. Just get him out and show you. I'd say he's going on 6 pounds or so. Look at a gob on that. Well, I think the reel performed pretty well on that one. I know it wasn't what was intended, but yep, definitely worked pretty well. Okay, well, I've got some more bait on. Let's get back to the serious business now of chucking longer distances with heavier weights, like we said, and get back out there. Well, we're about an hour and a half in and I can't get a bite out there. Now, obviously, I'm trying to give this reel a big workout by casting a reasonable distance, and I'm casting over there, but it's into deep water, so obviously the fish are all down in the shallow area down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast more down to this way, at the same distance, sort of 40 meters or so. And I get a few balls in there. It's only probably 4, 5, 6 feet deep down there. Hopefully there are going to be more fish down there. I was trying to make it work over there because it kind of worked for the camera, but if you don't catch fish, it ain't working. So I'm going to get my usual 6 balls in down at that point there, and we'll see if we can get something moving. For a start recording. Oh, that was a good bite, wasn't it? Okay, well, not needing drag at the moment. Just going to slacken off a bit just to see where we're at with this thing, see when it starts to do it. Oh yeah. Go back a couple of clicks. Gives you plenty of variation. Do like that. And where are we? Don't think it's a particularly big fish. No. But that was first cast in the shallow area, would you believe? Maybe I do know something after all, eh? Got it wrong to start with by trying to make it work for the film, but hopefully now, if we got it right, we'll have one or two. Yeah. Got an acrobatic one here. Okay, oh, caught around his dorsal fin again. Now we're off. Right, well, first proper fish on the proper way of doing it. Okay, it's about 3 pounds or so, average kind of fish. It is actually quite a nice easy chuck, even with this reel, the 4000 size. So yeah, I'm hoping therefore that the 5000 is going to have a little bit more beefiness to it. But so far, clutch wise, yeah, pretty good like that. Tangles wise, no problem. So looking better than we were when we started today anyway. Well, that's not bad. Second cast, second bite, and I was actually messing around with the phone, messing with the camera, so I didn't quite catch the initial thing, but as you can see, I'm cranking away quite happily here. It's off out. Oh, good little run on that one. Give it a little bit less pressure. Yeah. This one's heading off out into the middle, I think. Here we are, somewhere down here now. Cracking away quite nicely. Oh, acrobatic this one, doing cartwheels underneath the surface there. Do like the way my finger just reaches the back of the bail arm here, very comfortable. Come on fish. It's quite a reasonable fish. Down behind his dorsal fin again. That's off now, that's good. Okay. Doesn't want to give up, does he? Very nice. Oh, he's not huge, but not complaining. Just can't get him anywhere near the net. Come on, fish. Gotcha. Oof. That was a bit of a performance, wasn't it? Oh yeah. He's not bad at all, this guy. Okay, get him out and show you. And there we go. Not bad, eh? Not bad at all. Lovely fish. Whew. Okay, well, for an initial test, I think I've pretty much found out as much as I need to know about this Matrix Horizon X 4000 size reel. Quick summary, if you're fishing with medium sized feeders on a commercial out to, I don't know, maybe 50 meters or so, I think this is a really good reel. For my purposes, for heavy duty feeder fishing, obviously, as I said at the start, it's not designed for that, but as I hadn't got the 5000, which is what I was thinking of buying, I've just made this stand-in just instead. And yeah, it's got some very good points about it, actually. Oh, fish leaping around behind me. Let's go through them in a little bit more detail for you. First of all, casting wise, I'm casting 100 to 120 gram feeders, which is again not what it's designed for, but it's chucking them perfectly happily. I'm only casting to about 40 meters. I could probably get a bit further, but then with 120 grams on, it's you know, pushing it for a reel of this size. Cranking power, bringing it back in, yeah, as I say, for normal medium feeder fishing, this would be great. For what I want, it's not quite powerful enough, but hopefully the 5000 will be. Clutch, yep, like that too. It's got a good variation on it without having to twist round 2 or 3 times to get where you want to be. Once you've got it more or less correct, you can vary it just a little bit either way, and it's quite good. I do like that about it. And the big one for me is tangles. Did I get any tangles behind the spool and behind the rotor there? And the answer is no, not a single one. Absolutely chuffed to bits about that. And that's because I'm sure it's all about this. I'll just back wind that a second. I'm sure it's all about this long skirt on the spool here and not exposing the rotor. So again, perfectly happy about that. So yes, I am going to order the 5000 size Matrix Horizon X reel. As I said, it actually does come with a single handle as well, and I've noticed with single and double handles when they come on these reels, the single handle gives you a little bit more length that way, so a bit more cranking power as well. But this reel is 4.9 to 1 retrieve ratio, whereas I think the 5000 is 4.6 to 1 with a bigger spool. So again, more cranking power. But in terms of the 4000 reel, I couldn't be happy with it, to be honest. And I'm thinking that these at the moment are in the sort of 90 to 100 pound bracket if you decide to go and get one. But bear in mind, you don't get a spare spool with it. Spare spools, £17.99, somewhere around that sort of range, if you decide that you want one. I'll always take a second one, and that's going to take the price of my 5000 reel, because they're about £10 more expensive, I believe, probably up into the 120, 130 pound range by the time I've got the reel and I've got the spare spool to go with it. And that's roundabout where the Preston Intensity reel was. So as I say, more than happy with this 4000 reel, and I certainly say if you're doing normal commercial fishing, this, or if it's smaller commercial fishing, possibly the 3000 size Horizon X reel, perfect. Absolutely great. So anyway, on that note, I'm going to carry on fishing. Hope you've found it instructive and helpful, and of course if you did, as always, click the like button. If you want to subscribe, you can, and until the next time, bye for now.